Are you tired of chasing after people and trying to make some more money? Then you have to check out Coach Wanda. I give her a 5 star out of 5 star rating. She is the best. I love my interactions with her, and I just want to give her a huge shout out for everything she does. She's supportive towards me. I'd be supportive towards her. So listen to the episode and talk to her because she's amazing. Alrighty, be well. Cheers. Sweet. Well, Coach Wanda, this is really exciting. I know we've had several opportunities to connect throughout the last few months, and I've always enjoyed your energy and being around you. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. And you know what? Likewise, I feel like when you're here as the host, I see you more than a host. I see you as a friend, a very good connection that I've
Aw.
really landed into because it comes out in your personality, which we know I'm the healer coach that I am, or the work that I do. I can feel and sense that type
Yeah.
of presence, and that's what so enamored me, to be with you.
Aw. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I really appreciate that. That absolutely makes my day. Everything, every time I think of the group and I think of you guys, it just really brings a happy smile to my face. And I'm like, it's a vice versa thing. Like I feel so fortunate that I get to connect with you guys as well.
That's great. No, but see, it has to be, I always say that it has to be like a joined alignment in a connection. I
Yes.
know people do meetups or these groups, they want to conduct business, but it's always a bigger picture behind this.
Mm,
It's always that. It's not just one vision. I say it all the time. It's always more than what we really see if we allow ourselves to take that opportunity to really
mm,
have that, because
mm,
when I first started what I was doing, it's always a starting point somewhere. It was almost like everything just started to move into an arena and
yeah.
that second arena and that arena. So I'm always open to if I don't have the people's ideas, what can I produce? So
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if I
Wow.
don't have those ideas and you and I just, what will I, what could I produce? I'll give you a prime, I'm gonna use a prime example. This is really live and true. I like
Yeah, yeah.
real live and on the moment things. It's very true. Nothing is scripted. I, I started, in my, I guess why I don't like the word work because it really makes you think you got to work, but it's not work. I started in my play of the movie of this journey,
Hmm.
with massaging clientele, different modalities, which took me to the mission of my work of becoming, or not becoming. We always are already it. We just awaken to what we already are. I like to say to being able to see the true person, to see the true identity with everybody, and one thing led to another, and from that, I was able then to produce books. I was able then to connect with people in communities. Then
Mm,
I was able to go with a bigger vision and have a course in line. I'm just using that to show that it never started out with
mm,
those intentions. And I know people always say you must be intention, you must have an intention, but if you have an intention that you really stick to, you're
hmm.
gonna miss the little side pieces that oh, side
Mm,
pieces, oh well, side parts that come in. And it's okay to have intentions, but you can't be fixated on that intention. If not, you're gonna miss the side parts that come in. As I was speaking to you earlier, I'm putting together a series of different collective anthologies paired with a, I call it also with a guide for a business transformation book. So it's going to be more than one thing. It's just not anthologies. The anthology is a collection of people,
yeah.
but it's also paired with a business transformation guide. So it's very
Oh,
different,
cool.
different type of anthology, and or unique type. And in that, I was able to, as I'm vetting or listening to people and connecting, I'm getting ideas. They are my people. They are telling me, okay,
Mm,
I do this plus this. I said, oh, now I can have a section called Artist Plus, Writers
there you
Plus.
go.
Yeah, I'm just saying that to say
I like
the
it.
value of the information comes from people. If I'm
Mm,
a solo person and I'm just doing it for me,
yeah.
I don't need to do anything. I just need to shut everything down and just stay in my world and just okay. But you're not doing it for that. We are connectedness. So I
Mm.
get that from you. I know it was a long drawn out story with that, but yeah.
I
Yeah.
like what you're saying. I like what you're saying. And so I'm curious to like go back on this a little bit because you just
Please.
said, you have someone's intentions, but what we're doing is we're looking at like those little side things that come along. Could you give me an idea or an example of that? Like, let's say you have your intention is to sell something, like you have your course, for example, but what are some of the side things that come up?
Okay, that's very good. Okay, when I first started, I did not know that I was going to be doing a course online because I'm a one-on-one. I have a private practice. I've had it over 16 years now.
Wow.
And I have individuals from all walks of life. It's something called the nameless technique, and what that does, it allows me to be able to play in what they don't see about them that's already
Mhm.
there. They don't have to work as hard.
Mhm.
They can really start to see it from a new set of eyes. They can start to really get a chance to know that what they're bringing to the table, they already have. All
Mhm.
we're doing is fine tuning it and tweaking it for where they are in their alignment.
Mhm.
So with that, had the opportunity came up where during the pandemic, I was able to get a contract with wealth advisors
Mhm.
and to be able to really coach them the inside out approach, I call it. It's not
Mhm.
where I had to deal with their numbers and any of that because your
Yeah.
numbers, I don't have to deal with what your numbers are. If you are the numbers, so once we go with the inside out approach, the numbers will happen. It's just automatic. It will when you align to the inside out approach that I'm offering there. So
Uh-huh.
what happened, I start using these, I don't want to call them techniques, but just say these tools or whatever. And the income start to really rise up. And they said to me, why don't you do this in a book or a course? And I went, oh, I'm not a course creator. What do I have to do?
Yeah.
So basically, I had to interview and find a course creator to create this
Wow.
course because I really wanted it to be fully packed with, for every level of your business, you can use the Business Tastic Masters because it's the inside out approach for entrepreneurs. And it really allows you to give up the chase and the hunt in your
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
So with that being said, I didn't see that at first, Ian. I
Mm.
was just there coaching the wealth advisors with the tools, and this happened to come in the midst of it. So
Mm.
that's what I mean about being open.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
if my
Okay.
intention was just fixated on, okay, I'm coaching wealth advisors, or
Yeah.
this is what I'm here to do,
Mhm.
and not being open to
Mhm.
listening, or just not being so
Mm.
fixated on I'm there for this, I would
Yeah.
have missed that part.
Wow. Wow.
And let me tell you, and anybody can tell you, I've never thought about doing a course online. But
Mhm.
now I have two other courses I want to do also. Yeah,
Ah, that's
about
awesome.
relationships, because I'm also, I'm into the world of relationships and also gifted children. I'm creating something, for kids, for gifted children, gifted children. Yeah, so you won't recognize that if you are so fixated on one lane.
Mhm.
Because remember, there are many parts to us. We
Of
think it's
course.
just that one thing. Yet there are many parts to us. And in those parts, you're able to really, like you're putting out you have a flame there, you have a flame there that's growing. You can start to see how it all, will come to play. And I always say income comes from everywhere,
Mhm.
just not one space, especially when you have a community of people. There
Mhm.
are many ways, but if you're fixated on that one avenue, you're not going to see it. You're going to be
Wow.
blindsided.
Wow, I can see that. And I like what you're saying too, because I'm getting this impression, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. It's like it's going with the flow sort of viewpoint where you have
Yes,
something come up and you're open to receiving it is probably one of the first things. And then the
yes,
second thing is like, okay, yeah, let's explore that idea instead of just shutting it down. It's like, no, we're not doing that. You're like, okay, let's consider it. Let's
yes,
think about, okay, good. How do we do that? What do we do with
yes.
this? Cool.
Yes,
Cool.
and I'm glad you said that because going with I'm not saying that everything comes along, but you're going to be able to feel. I
Mhm.
always I don't call them clients, but I call them miracle mates. That's my word.
Nice. I
Nobody's a
like
client. They are miracle mates because that's what I
it.
call them. So as you guys would think clients, I'm going to say miracle mates, so we know that's what I mean. Basically, when I'm speaking with the miracle mates, I say to them, let me know if this was the opportunity for you, what would you see
Wow.
for you here? It's almost like we go into discovery zone. I don't
Mhm.
say everything is edged in stone, yet you just want to open up to discover because if you are aligned to that one avenue, you're going to miss those parts. Now, if I wasn't
Mm.
open to hear that from them, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have a course.
Right.
I never thought about doing an online course. I've been in my business, like I said, 15, 16 years already. Private practice. No, it never came into play until
Wow.
this. And then here's what's so interesting, how the people, I know they're gonna say, well, here's the woo-woo part, but it doesn't matter. They'll know this is all true. The universe, everything in it is following you. You may think it's not going with you. It is always going with you. It's
Mm.
always an inside out approach. We're looking at the
Interesting.
inside to tweak that because there's something there in the inside of you have drawn that in. Now, I know I hear people may say, "Oh my God, I brought this in. How to I've done it." That's a whole nother chapter. Yet everything you want wants you. If you are clear and know that and be aware and watch the signs. But I can't watch them if I think I have to chase and hunt everything down. I cannot watch the signs if I am always constantly busy. And I want to go into that arena for a moment. I know that everybody, you know, when I speak to them, they say, "Oh, I'm busy. We're just so busy." And I always ask them, "Can you give me another word besides busy?" Let's just, because what happens, the more busy you keep saying you're busy, the more the busyness is going to come up. You won't have time to just sit back and view. It's impossible. I don't know. And if someone let me know if they do have a person, if you're having calls back to back to back, it's impossible to take in everybody back to back. I mean, sincerely. Now you can talk at them, but
Right.
there's a way between talking at them and talking with them.
Yeah.
Very different. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you know that because you talk with people. I never hear you talking at people. No, that's true. You know what I'm saying is true.
I know
I don't.
exactly what you're talking
I
about.
know. And I'm sure you went across people that talking at you. Yes,
All day.
it's different.
Oh yeah.
My goodness.
One is a conversation,
Thank you.
and the other one is not.
Say that. One is, I gotta be, I'm radically self-honest. This is all I know. I know that I was out with a few friends of mine and somebody they had met who was a friend of theirs. During the whole conversation, they never stopped to hear what everybody else was doing. Not that I need to say what I was doing. It was no space. So then a month later, they met the same friend again and they said to them, "Well, they told them what they were doing." She said, "Well, I never knew that." They said, "You never asked." You never asked. So you want to be able to, and that's why I always suggest to everyone, take time not to do back to back to back anything.
Interesting.
You can't take it in. You're going to miss something. And not saying you still can't do it to talk at them, but like you just said, one is a conversation and one, yeah, you can do that. People can do that all day long. Yeah. They can sit back and just go, "I want to hear you. I don't want to be just here. I want to hear you. I want to really go, okay, what do you think about that? How am I going to do that? You think we can, I want to really put quality behind. It has to be significant for two people to really gain the connectedness. Yeah. It has to be.
And one thing that I've learned over the years, and it's become a really helpful tool, is when someone is talking at you to start doing what I like to call active listening. And the way to do active listening, and you can do this in normal conversations, but I feel like it's especially helpful if someone's talking at you, is to start acknowledging them a little bit more. Like they're saying something, you're like, "Oh, wow, I heard you." Because then it'll stop them a little bit because like, and sometimes I'll do it more intentionally, like, "Hey, I want you to know that I heard what you said." And then sometimes they'll stop a little bit because some people, what I have observed, and this is just my opinion, when someone is talking at someone, they're kind of just doing what they normally do, and nobody has ever stopped them before. Nobody has ever gave them an acknowledgement to the point where they're like, "Oh, I was heard." And I can tell when it happens because they almost stop talking from it. And then the other thing I like to do is clarify what they're saying. Because when it comes to this viewpoint of someone's talking at me, well, I'm not going to be able to understand everything they're saying. So what I like to do is say, "Okay, so wait, I just want to make sure I'm getting what you're saying. You're talking about this, this, and this. Did I get that right?" And they'll be like, "Yeah," or "No." And then then we're having a conversation.
Oh, so but I gotta tell you, that's really good. But I know some people who will bypass that too. But let me say this, always that exception. But what I love, then what you're doing, you are really giving them a chance to really, let me just pause in their mind and reset. Hey, yeah, that's what you're doing.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. This is part of my inner work I do. I go, okay, great. Yeah. So, okay. The pause and reset now, because what it is everybody and I got maybe 99.9. Everybody, I guess, want to be heard.
For sure.
Because
Yeah.
what are we communicating? We're communicating because we want to share something. My communication values have really switched. The more, and I'm not saying this, people don't have this, the more that I've turned inward to the true identity of me, the real me, not the play me, the one who's walking through the ego me. No, I now do not need a lot of acknowledgement. That's changed. Now, I didn't say it's not there.
Yeah.
I don't require
Mm,
what has shifted because of this inner process that
mhm,
people and everybody has it because
mhm.
we already have what we need. We think we don't. So we
Yeah.
start chasing something that's artificial. So yeah, but anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We'll do another topic on that. So what happened
Hmm.
is that I have space now
Mm,
to take them in.
mm,
Because if it's all about me, I don't have
mm.
any space there to really
Sure.
take them in. I'm just talking at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
so what you're doing is you allow them to pause and reset, and they probably have to do it all the time because they at that level of their awareness,
Hmm.
they still need to have that.
Mm,
You see, so it can. A lot of people asking, "Well, is it a parental thing? Is it?" I said, "We could say that person happened when you were a child. That we can't go back to all that. It's not necessary. What is necessary? That's a whole
mhm,
nother topic.
mhm,
Is to just be aware
mm.
of what those triggers are and
Yeah.
how to deflect them when they show up. Because we
Wow.
can't go back to everything. It's no use. So people stay into therapy for like years and years, and I go, well, okay." But yeah, so you give them a chance to pause. Not that I'm opposing any therapist. I'm not. I have a lot of therapists that wind up coming to me after the person they had were coming to me. They said, "Well, let me see what's here." I don't go buy a book. That's okay because that's where they are. I don't. What I do is not buy a book. It's by the internal process of the individual. That's just something that I've always had since a
Mm,
child. But yeah,
mm.
so but
I like that.
yeah, I think that you're right. So you give them a chance to pause and reset. Okay, we can just continue on. This is see
I
you and
like it.
I.
I
This is what
like
I
it. I
love
like
because
it.
we don't know what's going to come out.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I would like to do is talk about your course. 'Cause I mean, we have been speaking about it, but I really want to highlight it here. Boom. There it is.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay, good. Because you and I can just see we're so vibing with each other. That's why I mean it's a natural conversation. Okay. You want me to go over? I'll go over something else. Okay. So,
No,
yeah.
I think what I'd like to start with
Sure.
is so what I'm understanding from what you're saying is you actually started this because other people recommended you to start it. Is that right?
Exactly. Exactly. As I said earlier, because wealth advisors deal with a lot of numbers, high numbers, I mean high up there on the pole. And what they hired me for, they
Mhm.
wanted the wealth advisors numbers or the business to start to rise or and what happened, they really wasn't sure
Mm.
about this approach because they had never heard it before like this, number one. And it was just an angel on my shoulder then to kind of convince them to go, let me see what's happening here or what's going on here.
Mm.
And once the techniques, it was no course then, once the techniques and tools that I was, they were using,
Mhm.
the numbers in their office, in their personal numbers started to rise up.
Oh.
And I was coaching a lot of wealth advisors. And
Mm.
it became when you it was just seeing that whatever they were doing with this was
Yeah.
assisting them. And
Mm.
let me say this, I never used metrics in my course. I don't. I did not use the analytic numbers. They can do that on their own. There's always
Yeah.
courses out there for that. This was the inside out approach.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to so I like where this is going. I really like origin stories like in I mean, I just looked up a word the other day that was like talking about the Bible and it was talking about like the origin story and I was like, "Oh, that's what that means?" Like I've heard that word for years, but I just had no idea what it means. But origin stories are a big part of what I like to understand. And so
Hmm.
for you, so you were having these conversations and they like either asked or said, "Hey, can you do a course?" But what happened before that? Like, where was this really the start of something like this? How did you get into the position to start coaching these wealth advisors.
Okay.
And just for clarity, what is a wealth advisor? It's someone who's handling your
Okay.
money.
A wealth advisor is a financial advisor.
Okay,
Same
got it.
thing. They just use wealth, financial. They just use different word, depends on
Different words for
who's
it.
saying what. Well, okay. I was already coaching individuals in different businesses, relationship couples, individuals on their businesses. I had that
Mm,
business going on. So one of my coaches there became really involved in the financial advising industry, and they wanted her to bring on a team of people to coach their advisors. So she said, okay, I have my private coach, which I'm her private coach, and she said, basically, I can bring her on if she's willing to take this on.
yeah.
And of course, like I said before, bringing me in, they were not sure because I had already said to them, this is not a number. I'm not using any metrics here. I'm not using what people would use in the financial world for
Mm,
their business because they had that already. I'm coming from a different approach. I'm coming from the inside out approach. And if you allow me to, it was on a 3-month trial basis, first of all, but it went on for 5 years, the whole pandemic till they
wow.
sold the company. But so I started, so they hired me to work with the wealth advisors,
Mm,
and giving them the techniques, and their numbers started to change. Yet
mm,
I never dealt with a number. You won't hear any numbers in this course.
mm,
You won't hear me ever say how much money are you bringing in this course. It wasn't built that way.
mm.
And what they realized after I had every technique I used, because this went on for a couple years before I even thought about the course. I wanted to do it in 3 different sections. So I had already started to align the way this was going to go because I already had the techniques. I had been using them along in my private practice.
Mhm.
So when they came along, I was able to put it in the arena with the wealth advisors to really, put it to their where they were in their business. So at that time, 2 years, this course was not happening because it wasn't, I hadn't thought about it. They hadn't suggested it.
Okay.
So 2 years in, or maybe no, a year in, the numbers start to come up before a year in. But yet I wasn't finished it because I had 3 propellers to do. I wanted to work
Propellers.
all of these sections out with them to see how valuable it was.
And propellers are like sections of
Yeah,
the
so three
course.
different sections, 3 propellers. First one is your mashable magnet. One is your play park of business. One is the 5 useful communication inhibitors. These were the 3 sections. So I had to really work this in for at least a couple of years. And I worked it where it was so valuable. They recommended do a book or a course.
Okay.
And that's how this came about. And
Interesting.
yet, so the thing about it was I knew they gave up the chasing business because of course we chase, we look for,
Mm,
we're hunting it, looking for where are my people, where they are, how
sure.
can I find them. So they looked at this course like it was something to them called the Chase Eliminator for all entrepreneur, wherever level you
Mm,
were. It's an ongoing lifetime business course because you're going to always be rising in the business. There's a section I can really speak on here, so good for this, called the play park of business. In that section, you're always on a ride in your business. Bumper cars, roller coaster, Ferris wheel.
I
I
love it.
love it. Ferris wheel. So you have these rides, and you're always on a ride in that business. So it
Mm,
tells you what ride you're on, how to identify it, and what to do about it. So in every stage, this course was made for that. So
mm.
it's never a course where you say, oh, I'm complete, I'm done. No, because you may be battling something and you'll be able to go right to where that is.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that's how this entire course came into being.
Wow. So why not do a book instead? Because I know you mentioned you were deciding between one or
Mm,
the other.
I guess when they mentioned it to me to do a book, I wanted something where it was like a school, a curriculum. Because a book is something, you read, you don't look at it like it's you have a Q&A in this, you
Yeah.
have like a testing ground. It's like a course. I wanted you to have like a school course, a business course from the inside out that a book I don't think would have brought it to that type of life for me. And a lot of audio is here. You have a lot of videos that's in the course. The book could not have held all of the videos and how it was aligned. So the course was just best. Like I said, you have a Q&A after each section. You can test yourself. You can retest yourself. And yeah, it's just I didn't have any idea that the really intensity that it was going to involve in doing this
Mm-hmm.
course, because I had to really talk to an audience that wasn't there. I'm used to talking to one-on-one people all the time, so
Sure.
I had to visualize what they were thinking, what they may be saying, and yet everything I had there was what I had already compiled from working with wealth advisors. I knew
Mm.
if financial advisors could do this, anybody could do this because it was
Wow.
general. Because I
Wow.
didn't use numbers. I didn't even use their lingo. I didn't use their lingo at all. Actually, it was so unorthodox. I didn't use any of their language. And so it was powerful. And
Wow.
I had to interview someone to do this because it took me
I
months,
remember you
3 or
talking
4 months
about
to
this.
find someone to speak the language, to understand, to draw what I was trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Wow.
wanted them to be able to go to, oh, section 2, I can go to where the 5 useful communication inhibitors was. That's something on communication, on where your people are. They are either
Mm.
procrastinating, they are either in the lane of unknowing, they either are in the insecure lane, they are either unaware. So you'll be able to know where they are too
Mm-hmm.
and use the language so you can move them to where you want them to go without you saying, hey, John, you're procrastinating. No, John, just there's certain language you use with all of that. So that
Mm.
identifies your clientele. So it makes
Wow.
it easier.
Wow. And you even have this free preview for the course as well. So if anybody wanted to go try it,
Yes.
or
I think it's 2 free previews there. Yeah.
cool.
And you can take away it, you can take away the technique right there. That's what it's for. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2 in there. Because you'll be able to know, and it's only not to know, the know how to. See, we can know all day, but it's the know how to.
Mm-hmm.
I can know oh, don't let me use somebody's name who I can use X. I'm just gonna use the name X. I don't want to use anybody's name.
Sure.
I can know X is a procrastinator.
Okay.
So now I don't need to tell X, you're procrastinating. I can pick up his characteristics. And now anybody who is a
Mm.
procrastinator, you have to use language with them that is going to make them think they are in charge. So I kind of
Mm.
show you what that is.
Interesting.
And then so it's a whole theory behind it. And you also have a workbook in there too. I
Okay.
forgot that. So much in there.
Cool.
Like I said, you have everything. You can download a workbook in there just as well. And you'll be able to get an understanding of different terms and different phrases to work with individuals. So I forgot, it's a downloadable workbook,
Wow.
about different forms of when people communicate. And it's
Cool.
very easy once you understand the five useful inhibitors in communication. Everybody you meet are going to be in one of those 5 categories.
Mm.
Now you have the surety person. I'm just going to go real quick. The surety person is someone you don't have to run after. They're ready to sign on the dotted line. So we
Mm.
don't have to do anything about that. You are a surety person. You and I are surety in our implement. Anybody wants to know what the example of a surety connection looks like? This is what it looks like. Ian and I. So when you have that surety person in your
Mm.
business,
Mhm.
that's what it looks like.
Okay.
This. Okay? You have an unaware who do not know what to do.
I've heard of this before.
Okay.
Yep. They don't know
Yeah.
they have a problem.
Yes. Okay. You have, now we're not saying none of you all are this.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
the insecurity person. We have that. That's number 3.
Could that also be described as someone who is aware that they have a problem but isn't doing anything about it?
Well, let's say this. And if you are aware of it, and if you don't do anything, it's just like you have a problem, you're just going to be with it. You've
Right.
already said yes to the problem.
Right. So to that degree, would it be somewhat insecure because you're like, yes, I have a problem, but I'm not really doing anything about it?
Yet, now see, here's what I want to
Mm-hmm.
say about that. Just because they are aware, that doesn't cripple the insecurity. It's already there. They
Okay.
can't make it deeper. So no, it's just there. You see, so sometimes people think, oh, can I just make it worse? No, once it's there, it's no, insecure is insecure. It's not one, it's no 20 degree, 3 degree. It is. So yeah, they really know they have it, and yet
Mm-hmm.
they have fear
Mm.
of doing something about it because then they think they got to give up something.
Oh, I see. So it's an apprehension about paying for something. Is that
Yes.
okay?
So you
Okay.
think you got to give up something, but you don't have to give up anything. Actually, you'll gain, giving up,
Mm.
yeah. So
So,
then
so
you,
with those people, do you like treat it or approach it more from a value perspective? Like you're gonna get all.
oh yeah. So when you come to the insecurity person, you start to see their behavior, the characteristics. And I think when you are dealing with someone with that, you have to give them multiple options. I think I can't remember my own course, but
That's
yeah, yeah,
okay. That's
so
okay.
much. Yeah, but it's there. Once I do the information, it leaves right out of me, so because I got so much that's going on
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Can't retain.
yeah.
No need to retain. It's there. There it is. I'm on to the next thing. But anyway, yeah. You have to. They have to feel. They have to have choices.
Yeah,
So I tell you about that and how to swing that. So once you have this, you don't have to sell or chase anybody.
nice,
You have it
nice.
because you're dealing with their inside approach too. That's why I made it,
Mm,
and that's why after all this was said and done, the managers were so apprehensive about this because they were afraid of it because they hadn't heard of it,
of course.
and they would go, "Oh, we love you. We didn't even realize." I know they didn't know because they never heard it. And I said, "If you
Of
did
course.
hear it, I wouldn't be here."
Right, right.
That was
In
the real funny part. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So
Wow, I
they,
like this.
yeah, so they had no idea that I never talked about a number.
Mm,
Now they would tell me their business. They'd say,
mm.
"Oh, I got a client today." I would have one of them to always call me and say, "Listen, I have an unaware client. Now I'm going to him. The conversation." So I use all these techniques, and they landed the clientele.
Wow. So
So
I want to make sure I'm understanding this part correctly. Are you saying that the inside out approach is for the person themselves, but it's also for the person you're trying to sell to?
yes, thank you. You
Ah.
got two. Okay, I'm so happy you said that because I can't leave the person out who's listening. Okay, now remember again. I said it
Yeah.
was three propellers.
Okay. Three.
Now, the first propeller is the magnet. You are the magnet. Okay. Now that's going to start with you coming to the table with what you're
Mm,
doing in your business. The
yeah.
second propeller is the play park of business, the ride you're on in the business. So that is for you.
Yep.
The third propeller is the five useful communication hivers with you, with your clientele. That's
Yeah.
right. Because it got to be both. I had to have both. Thank you for bringing that out.
Yeah, you're
It's
welcome.
yeah, it's both. Yes,
Hmm.
because we have to have you both at the table. You can't see. This is what they don't realize. I can't just be at the table just ready to get numbers. I'm going to be chasing and hunting. Then I
Right.
have to bring me and you at the table, inclusiveness. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for saying that.
You're
That
welcome.
is so good. Oh, and then there's another part I forgot. I told you it is really packed. I also have. It's my whole life history
I
here.
love it.
I put something else in called the BBS, the Burnout Business
I've
Syndrome.
heard you talk about this before.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, good. I forgot. Now, because
Yeah.
this is part of my, this is, I would say work. This is part of the other business that I am a inside out approach coach. So what I do, I put in different tools and techniques for the individual stressors that we have
Hmm.
and what to do with them. Because in the business, we do come across burnout syndrome. What that means is, that means that, okay, you're taking calls back to back to back, what we said, and you're not really taking in because
Hmm.
now the burnout syndrome comes from I'm just on overdrive. Number one, I have not stopped to let me see what he's saying. Let's have a conversation instead of me talking at him. I want to talk with him. So yeah, so I have tools and techniques in that. I have a lot of fun stuff in there too.
Cool.
I don't, so did it really, will you be able to know when you are going through the burnout syndrome?
Mm.
Sometimes you're unaware that it's happening, but I give you different things where you can really feel and sense when it's coming on. So someone asked me, well, that means if you have the burnout syndrome, do you have to just pull back and take some time off? No,
Mm.
because what it teaches you,
Mm.
you're going to be alleviating the burnout syndrome while you are still participating. So it's pretty cool.
It's
You don't
very
have to
cool.
like take a
Very cool.
long break. You take a long break because you don't know how to release while you are pulling in. So then you
Mm.
can take some breaks, yeah, but you won't have to take, oh, I need like people say I need 2 weeks, so I need. And I said, well, because you weren't releasing the whole time. There's a way to still do
Mm.
that. Yet
Wow. Wow.
this is the energy that I bring with the inside out approach.
I
So
love
people
it.
can get a chance to see, yes, you can do it all along.
Love
You
it.
can do
And
it all along. And now
nice.
there's one thing that works a lot, but see, you have to really be aware.
Mm.
Step one, you gotta be aware of who you are. Be aware of what you bring to the table. Now, as you and I have this conversation, we've had humor. Yeah, we've laughed. That's part of releasing. So there are many things to release along the way. So it won't feel like when you got out, wow, I'm burnt out. This was really because we kept being alert and aware of each other in the conversation. That helps.
I
Make
agree.
sense?
That makes total sense.
Yeah, that helps. So that's just a little part I just wanted
I love
to.
that. I love the way you're putting that too. It's really really good.
Yeah, you won't.
What I'd like to do is go through some of these things that people are saying over here. Like Kat took it and she said, "Love it, great course, helped me tremendously to be able to improve my communication skills." Carla said, "Don't just talk about it, be about it." That's fun. Wanda has created a program that will help you accomplish the life you envision for yourself, but you will have to do the work. So roll up your sleeves, invest in yourself, and watch how everything will fall into place. And she said a little bit more
Beautiful.
than that. And then this woman says, "Love, love, love Wanda." She reminds us that obstacles are our friends, not
Oh,
there to
yes.
block or stop, but to make us better. Teach us something. That's so great.
Yeah. So that's the course, so
I love it.
basically,
I
like I
love it.
said, it's not a course you put down and say, I'm done. As long as you stay in your business, you will be able to, this course will be profound for you, whatever level and whatever stage you are in your
Amazing.
business. So you'll
Amazing.
be able to go back to it to go, okay, this is the part I remember. She has this part on here about the friendly obstacle. I've hit a wall. Am I on the bumper
Mm.
cars? Am I on the roller coaster? What do I do?
That's
How
very
do
funny.
what do I do when I'm on the roller coaster? Do I
Yeah.
just go, oh my God, here's a roller coaster. I now got to switch everything around. No, you don't. Yeah, you'll see what that's about. No.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. And hey,
Hmm.
I just want to give you a big shout out too because I know like you went out of your way to do this for me and I really appreciate you putting my website like on mentioning
Oh
my
my
website on
gosh.
your website. That was so nice of you
Oh my
and
gosh.
I totally appreciate you doing that.
I gotta tell you, and do you know, and could I say, here's what I mean about asking.
Mm,
We must learn how to ask.
mm.
If we don't ask, now everybody's saying to me, I didn't know I could go on. I said, well, why didn't you ask? They see you on. They said, well, I said, you didn't ask. He asked. Come on, people.
He asked.
I'm
That's
serious with you.
why.
And
That's
they said,
the only.
and they said to me, oh my goodness, how long have you known him? We've been your friends for years. I said, you never asked. It doesn't matter. You know I don't do that. You didn't ask. And they said, well, I didn't know I could. Ask, please. That's one of my things in the course. You
Interesting.
don't know until you ask.
Yep.
And I said, he asked. And I called up the young lady and said, listen, put him on. She goes, great. And everybody's going to be asking. Yeah, well, there you asked. You
That's fun.
must ask.
Yes.
You must ask. How do you know?
Yeah.
I always say no, and this is in the course too. No just could mean not yet.
Yep.
Don't think
That's
it
also true.
is forever. You
Yeah.
didn't even hear no. You asked, I said, Ian, well, let me see, how can we, because I haven't done it. So
Mm.
that was the vision.
Mhm.
There you were right there. And I said, okay. Yeah, and everybody's asking me now, why do you say? I said, you didn't ask. I don't know.
I think there's a really good part to all of this too. Someone was telling me about a story where they were being offered something that they were in front of a salesperson and he basically had his card in hand ready to purchase. That's where he was. He might have like had it in his wallet theoretically speaking, but like he was totally willing to buy this thing that this guy was offering, but he never asked. And because he never asked, he never got the clothes.
You never got it.
So what's the whole point if you're not even going to ask, really?
What is the whole point? I mean,
Yeah,
I just want to, I'm so happy you said that. And I'm glad we're doing this podcast. I don't
of
know who's
course.
going to see this, but who's ever a chef, a writer, a photographer, a videographer, cosmetology, I'm just looking for people to connect with me on what I'm doing with my project, my documentary. And yeah, and they can just email me, Wanda at
Perfect.
mastery4u.biz,
I love that.
and easily, so I can really connect, or let me know, if you're in your professional business. I'm doing something called Career Comeback Mom, so which is so cool. So get in contact with me because you never know. You don't know until you ask. And I really want to globally push out, be able to have a filter where a community of everybody can just, be in their art and uniquely together. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I
Hmm.
like that. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this right too. It's Wanda at Mastery Business for you.
And no, Wanda at mastery4u.biz.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna bring that up just so that way everybody
Yes,
can
thank
see
you.
it. Yeah. So I put it right there. Wanda at Mastery for you. I'm just gonna
Dot
copy
biz. Yep.
right there. So
That's so
everybody who
perfect.
wants to talk to Miss Wanda over here, I highly encourage it. I think she's a great person to speak with. Like I've said, I've always enjoyed every interaction that we've had, and I mean, we've been going on what I think more than 3 months,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How
easily,
long I've been?
easily.
Oh yeah, and it's been what is this? Oh yeah, no, no, Ian. I'll tell you when it's more than that because I
Yeah.
started I started with the meetups probably in July.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, about 4 months.
Wow. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and it's just, it's just so great. I love the groups. I will, it was Christmas time now, so I will be back on tomorrow. Thank goodness.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Yay.
I was socializing with everybody, so it was fun,
That's
but
good.
yeah, so still connection everywhere you go. But yeah, so thank you for this time and
Of course. Yeah.
any closing thing you want to add or it's up to you.
I definitely want to do fireworks. I think you've
Yes.
just been fantastic.
Yes. I love fireworks. I so love that. That's so beautiful.
It's fun.
I
It's
love that. Hey, we should have that can you imagine waking up to that every day? I'm
mm,
just saying
mm.
that would really take you out of stress.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
That's
one thing that
beautiful.
I'd like to add, and I think what would be really great is, we have these Monday night meetups every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think what I'd like to start doing with the other group members that show up really consistently is do this type of podcast episode with them. So then they, instead of like, here's my website, here's my contact information, they can also say, here's the interview we did together, because I feel like this is becoming a really big
Ah,
community sort of thing. Like to
yes.
me, like I consider you guys friends. Sometimes I consider you guys to be very close to me. Like
Yes.
I have longer conversations with you than some people that I've been working with for like 4 years. It's just
Oh, wow.
so
And
funny
that's a
to
good
me.
idea.
And I
Oh,
think
wow.
and it's a way for me to give back to you guys, because you guys show up and put your time in, and I'm just trying to think of a creative way that could help you guys out and would also create a bonding experience, because we have these I think it's 4 different chat groups now, and it's like, hey, like let's get to know each other. Like this is like, if we want to help each other out. I mean, Michael Hamoon always talks about, he's against corporations, and the best way to be against a corporation is to get to know someone else who's in business, because that's how you
Yes.
can start taking the corporations down, because you're going to start buying from people, not from big CEO whatever
I have a
necessarily.
conversation with him coming up. We
Nice.
we supposed to have one, I think we go, but our timing, whatever happened, but we rescheduled, and I have somebody else he sent me with. But yeah, oh no, I think that's a good idea.
Thanks.
That's a good idea to do. Yeah. Because everybody could, so you may start turning them into, but that's good though.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
mean for the Monday night groups?
Yeah, Monday night groups, like when people show up, and we have someone like Jeff Brown shows up a lot, and I think it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where it's like, hey, we can really get into what we talk about, but I think it might be good for us too just to have those links. So it's like, hey, check out Jeff. He has this whole podcast episode. Check out Coach Wander. She has this whole podcast episode as well, if you want to find out more about them, because some people will like watch an entire podcast episode for sure.
And that is a very good idea.
Thanks.
You see, all these things come because it's just growing into, yeah, yeah, because then people could really get a chance. Because I said before, it's about the real heartfelt
Yeah.
connection. You gotta feel it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this project.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I
I
don't
love it.
want to just people pass out the card. Here's my referral.
Yeah.
Get the right alignment. As they said, Warren Buffett's always said he has all these companies. He never meet with his people except once a year. He said, number one, hire the right person. Because
Yeah.
then that he's had so many. Yeah, if you know the alignment is right.
Yeah.
Because every time someone asks me to do a podcast, I don't say yes to everybody because sometimes it's not the right match.
Right.
I don't say yes to everything. And you don't have to.
Of
You
course.
want to say yes when the alignment is matched
Mm.
because you're going to take somebody else's space that who's going to be matched there.
Yeah.
That's the real truth.
Yeah,
It
I
is
like
the
that.
truth. Yeah.
I like that.
It's just not, sometimes it's not the right match.
Yep.
And then you save your timing to go where you're matched and you
Mhm.
open up the door where somebody else needs to fit there. And that's so cool. That's how
Yeah.
it needs to be because
Yeah.
everybody's kind of going to fit everywhere.
It's true.
Yeah, but that's
It's
a
true.
good idea.
Thank
I
you.
really will support you in that idea.
Oh,
You
thank
gonna
you.
bring it up tomorrow at the class? You gonna mention it, or you gonna what
I'm
are you
gonna
gonna do?
start dropping your link and be like, hey, anybody who shows up to 3 Zoom meetings, you get a free interview.
That's really good, Ian.
Thanks.
No, but thank you so much.
Of
So,
course. This has been so fun.
yay, this is so good. I
Yeah.
guess that's I guess that's me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Like I said, I'm always a fan when you stop by and we get to connect. I always appreciate your energy.
Me too. And you sent me something on email. I sent it to you. I hope you got it. You sent me something to do, and I
Definitely have to
did.
check.
Yeah, I responded. So you could look and see it. Yeah. Um, perfect.
Great.
So we good? I guess
Of
we're good.
course. Yeah, I love doing this. Everyone has your contact information. And yeah, everyone reach out to Coach Wanda. She's the best.
Yes, thank you so much, Ian. And I will see you tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
See you
you. Bye,
tomorrow.
Ian.
I'm
Bye.
trying to do more fun things. All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.